I'd like to thank all this beautiful crowd here today and also all those people watching us online. And I'd like to invite first our judges to the stage. Judges, applauses for our judges, these volunteer judges that have arrived here even before I did.
Hello. Hello.
And I'd like to introduce now the second competitor of the day, Agnieszka Rojewska from Poland. A round of applause for Aga.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You're the most important. Okay, so and you're ready. Yes. Everybody's ready? So you didn't give me a choice. I'm ready too. So let's do this. Time. Cezve Ibrik is often described as world's oldest coffee brewing method. But do we really know its story? Today we'll take a closer look. In fact, before the invention of Cezve, coffee was a very different drink. The beans were lightly roasted, they were crushed in mortars, mixed with spices like ginger, cardamom, and cinnamon before being infused with water. And after that, they could be boiled for around 15 minutes or steeped up for a day, then strained and saved for later use. So coffee arrived to Turkey in 16th century. And when most people learn something new, they want to make it their own. They want to add a novel twist. And Turks were no different. So the folklore attributes the invention of Cezve brewer to kitchen servants of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. It was so innovative at the time that we can easily compare it to today's third wave specialty coffee movement. But doesn't matter what is the origin of the brewer, this brewing method needed two advances. First is finer grind size, and second is darker roast profile. Finer grind size increases exposed surface area, which allows faster and more efficient extraction. Darker roast profile increases solubility of coffee, and both those factors together allows to prepare bigger amount of more intense cup of coffees in a shorter period of time. And in fact, that popularized drinking coffee in Turkish coffee houses. And when we look at the sand heater and copper Cezve, we often consider it a very old school setup. But in fact, this is a genius invention. Heated sand is a great source of very stable and high temperature. And copper is an amazing heat conductor, which makes the transfer of energy between sand and water much more efficient. So in fact, this old school setup allows us to control more of the brewing variables much better, which in the end give us more consistent result in your cup. So today I'm using this old school traditional setup, and I am following a traditional ratio of 1 to 10 using 7 grams of coffee and 70 grams of preheated water. The water is preheated to 65 degrees Celsius and prepared according to SCH standard to ensure good quality of extraction and of flavor. For roasting, we decided to go with a development time in between filter and espresso, as there is longer contact time between water and coffee in lower temperatures, so I'm allowed to get much more of those gentle, fruity, floral flavors from coffee into your cup. And since the coffee is too hot to drink now, please just evaluate the surface. And I will tell you when to drink it. Here you go. Thank you. And serving a coffee is always a good time to share a story or have a conversation. So I will use that time while you're waiting to tell you about the coffee that I have chosen for today. Here you go. So today, I wanted to celebrate the Cezve Ibrik coffee culture and decided to use the variety that comes from that region. So this is a Mokka variety that originates in Yemen and is one of the oldest Arabica varieties known. But this one was cultivated in Colombia, in Café Granja La Esperanza. It grows on altitude of 1,500 meters above sea level in one of their experimental farms called Hawaii. The cherries are very small, dense, and it makes it very difficult to pulp. So the wash process is almost impossible. That is why team at Café Granja La Esperanza decided to go with the natural process of those cherries. So the coffee is put into special barrels, open, for 48 hours of fermentation. And after that, they are put to solar dry for 15 days. So the variety, processing, roasting, and also the brewing method that I have chosen, this all results in a cup that you have in front of you. And you will find there medium to high acidity, medium sweetness, and low bitterness. Floral aroma with the hints of red fruits. With first tasting, when the coffee is hot, you will get flavor notes of cherry, cranberry, peach, and dark chocolate. And when the coffee is warm, with the second tasting, you will get again cherry, nectarine, yellow plum, and let's say cherry lemonade in the end. Everything with medium body, smooth and round texture, with medium long aftertaste of spicy chocolate and cherry lemonade. So I think it's enough of me talking. I think it's the right time you can enjoy your coffee. Enjoy. Not that long ago, this brewing method was also a discovery for me. So as a typical specialty coffee third wave barista, I wanted to add something from myself. So today to my signature beverage, I'm adding a cultural twist by adding some typical Polish ingredients. Starting with at the beginning of my performance, I infused water with 200 grams of water with 3 grams of bison grass, which is a regional product of Poland, and it gives spiciness. And also 1 cinnamon stick. And for my coffee, I used 90 grams of that water, preheated to 65 degrees Celsius, and this time 10 grams of the same mocha coffee. What is a very characteristical thing for Ibrik coffee is the formation of foam on top. When the coffee slurry surpasses 88 degrees Celsius, the foam begins to form, and its cell structure is slightly smaller, slightly larger than for crema. And there is a Turkish proverb that says that the foam on a Turkish coffee should be as thick as a camel can walk across it. And in fact, the slurry temporarily can double in size during formation of the foam on top of it. And it actually, in traditional recipes, it was allowed for the coffee to rise to the rim of the brewer, and that means that the coffee has 93 degrees Celsius but did not boil. Because there is another Turkish proverb that says, coffee boiled, coffee spoiled. So we already know that they knew in 16th century how important temperature is for brewing a good cup of coffee. And if we look at the particular parts of brewing coffee in 16th century and today, we see a lot of similarities. There are a lot of baristas that try to make coffee better and better. There's a lot of inventions in brewers. We look for very, very constant coffee machines that allows us to control most of the brewing variables. And in the end, we also have baristas that try to popularize the coffee by making signature beverages, like I am doing for you right now. This is Turkey, and this is, let's say, me. Okay, so in my signature beverage, as I told you before, I will be using some typical Polish ingredients, and you will get, as a sensory experience, and you can write that down, a floral aroma, medium to high acidity, medium to high sweetness, and low bitterness. Flavor notes of cherry, Primitivo red wine, red apple, cinnamon, and dark chocolate. For my signature, I filtered the Cezve through paper filter, so add more round and smooth texture. So you're gonna have this syrupy round texture together with the medium-long aftertaste of Primitivo red wine, and also medium body. The question is, how did I achieve that flavor profile? As I said before, I will be using some typical Polish ingredients, starting with 10 ml of sweet apple juice. This will add some malic acidity and juiciness to the drink. And we can say that apple is our national fruit, is one of our greatest export goods. Okay, next, 10 ml of elderberry juice. This has a very strong tartaric acidity and will add this winey character. And I'm sorry, but there should be 20 ml of apple juice. So I'm going to add 10 more. My mistake, repaired now. Okay, and the last one is 20 ml of elderflower syrup. I made it here on stage using 200 grams of water, 20 grams of lemon juice, 50 grams of brown sugar, and 15 grams of dried elderflower. And this will add florality. And by creating this signature beverage, I wanted to celebrate Cezve coffee culture, connected to specialty coffee industry, and to my home country. So please, whenever you're ready, enjoy it, and this is my time.
Applauses. The presentation of Aga from Poland. Judges finishing